taxi guys don't join the Ola Uber, then in general he may lose a lot of money. And sometimes what happens, if a taxi owner, so if he don't join Ola Uber, then he will get actually 2 or 3 rides per day. But if you join Ola Uber, he will get 15 to 20 rides per day because his taxi utilization increases. Because taxi utilization increases, he can give at lower price. Similarly, user can benefit it because user will get it at lower price, and this middleman, because he is providing the system, so he will take money from the taxi guys, because taxi guys earlier used to get 2-3 only request, right? But nowadays means after joining Ola Uber, he is getting 15 to 20 requests. So in that way, all three. So this Ola Uber guys, this manager, then user, and this taxi guys who is owner of taxi. So all three get benefited because number of requests, Ola Uber taxi guys getting more. Ola Uber management guy is getting money freely, and then user also getting ride at cheaper price. So all three getting benefited. So this concept is similar in cloud computing. Cloud computing also it is kind of utility service. Everyone get benefited. Suppose you want to execute your program on a machines with actually means 512 GB of RAM, and in our department there is no machines which have actually 512 GB of RAM. So what you can rent the 512 GB machines for 1 or 2 days and execute your things and get back if renting option is available. But this is very cheaper because renting will be cheaper. Owning a car and renting a car. So if you own a car, then what happens? You need to do a lot of things. Okay, so you need to pay for the initial cost, that is capital cost, then every year AMC, then fuel cost, then driving cost, then tire cost, all the things you need to bear. And if you are driving means 10,000 or some 5 to 6,000 kilometers per month, then it is beneficial. Otherwise, owning a car is not beneficial. It's better to take taxi outside. So if your utility is less, then it is not advisable to own the system. Okay. So in general, all renting models use, they generally work in these patterns. And if you look at technology trend, so nowadays this cloud computing, so this is mainly economy is driving. Okay, so not the technology but economy. So everyone is getting benefited all over. So we look at so technology renting. This is the renting model. Cloud computing also works on actually same thing. Okay, based on renting model. And IoT, many things on internet, control and management of big works. Many sensor and actuator get connected to form IoT to do a bigger task or work. What is IoT? It means Internet of Things. Suppose there are many sensors, and taking data from the many sensor, you try to perform a different big useful work. So that kind of things we do in IoT, and we'll discuss many things about IoT also. Then what is fog? Fog is peer computing or multi-level peer computing. So instead of every time you go to the Amazon Web Service, suppose what kind of cloud service have you heard about? Hello, from the student side, what kind of cloud service have you heard of? So have you heard of Amazon Web Service?
Yes, sir. Azure and Google Cloud.
Azure and Google Cloud. So where this server get located? So in general, this server get located in US some places.
Remote
in
place.
India, we have lesser. Okay, so edge computing. Suppose you are developing a VR game, virtual reality game, and you want to host your things in Google Cloud and Google servers in US. Then from here to US, that transmission delay is higher. So because it is, if you are developing some latency sensitive application, then you cannot use server of RAW. Okay, so it needs to be nearby and well connected. So that's why this edge computing comes. Computing at the edge, not far. So for latency sensitive applications, we cannot send the data further cloud to the further cloud and do the processing. So it needs to be very near to the user. And fog computing is why you are sending to the server if your peers can do. Okay, so let me describe what is cloud, IoT and edge. So if you look at cloud, so this is what I am saying is kind of whether this is connected or not. So this looks like cloud. Okay, so So there are a lot of cloud providers, okay, and there is a cloud broker. So this is a Ola Uber, okay. So this is actually only broker. It will connect to the user will connect to the broker, and someone else will actually store and provide the service. So sometimes what we think, the all the data get stored in the Google servers. No, Google also hires service from other company. Okay, so even Amazon also means hire storing service from other company. Okay, or some kind of processing from other company. Have you heard about this one storage company? So Dell have actually very good storage company. EMC, have you heard about EMC? EMC don't provide actually means a direct cloud service. They actually give service to means bigger cloud provider. Okay, so particularly they give services to Google, Amazon, and Facebook kind of things. So there are storage server, Akamai, or there are many resource provider who don't give service to the user directly. They club with the cloud provider or means cloud broker, and cloud user get connected to the cloud broker. So from where you get directly the things. So this is Amazon EC2, and then Microsoft Azure and Google Clouds. So they have platform. They are also broker, and they may have their own resources, or they may hire some resources from others. Okay, and if you look at these things, so these are the users. User may stay at any places, and cloud may stay at other places. Resource may location of resource may be in the US, and user may be from India. So okay, so but whenever required, it need to send data and store the things. And most of the times nowadays in mobile, so many applications get connected to the cloud. You need to be online to do the processing. So particularly Google Mail. So whenever you are accessing Google Mail, so actually always you will actually connect to the server and get the data. Okay. So whenever you are doing language translations too. So have you heard about language translations? Suppose you know English, but you don't know some other language. Suppose Chinese language you don't know. So whenever you go to China, so always we try to have actually online translator. But online translator required, you need to be online in your mobile. Then only this translator will work. Offline it don't work, because for this translations work we require a lot of amount of data and do the processing. Okay, so we cannot store in our mobile offline. So we need to connect to the internet or cloud onlinely and do the language translations. So that kind of service. And some services are free, some services are actually paid. So whenever you're thinking some services are free, means they earn money from different economy model, either advertisement or something. And some services are actually comes with your mobile provider. Suppose Apple also provides something, or Android also provides some things, or some company they will have their own thing. Okay, and what is this difference between suppose the server is placed in actually, suppose the server is in USA and the user in India. So what will happen? So for latency sensitive things we cannot do. Once we want to develop some latency sensitive applications, it is very difficult to do in this setup. So in general, for that case, we need to put some edge server. So which is the server need to be located very near to the user. So suppose India. There may not only one, there may be many servers. Suppose users of actually means eastern area, there may be server in Kolkata, or northern zone, there may be a server in Delhi, Mumbai, or Chennai or Bangalore. So there may be 5-10 smaller edge server near to the user, so that that request can be fulfilled very easily. So near to the user means server placed near to the user, that might be less powerful, less capacity in storage, but they will cache or do the basic computations near to the user. And if we do some kind of peer load sharing between a server, then that is called fog computing. Okay, so peer load sharings. So suppose users from India, if they don't get actually services from actually Kolkata server, suppose user from Guwahati zone don't get access from actually Kolkata server, they can go to actually Delhi server. If Delhi server is not very loaded, okay, or Chennai server is not very loaded, they can go to Chennai server instead of going to the US server. So still getting from Delhi server will be much faster as compared to server in the US. So that is called actually peers computing. Okay, or fog computing and or fogging the device. Suppose you have actually 10 or 15 mobile devices are there and they want to share their work. Okay, they want to play their games or they want to share their work. Then they can do actually fogging the device or sharing the load uh, with some policies. Okay, so this is called edging or edge computing or fog computing or IoTs. So this is the basic concept, and this fog can be in multiple layers. So here these are the fog nodes, fog computing nodes, and user may be insights. So user may be insights. User 1, user 2, or user 3, user 4. There may be many users in the lower level, and at the top level there will be cloud. So, but going to the cloud from the user, it will take time, and time is latency sensitive. So it means it has higher latency. But if you can get in actually lower level near to the user, then it will be much faster. So suppose this user 3 get access to this node and store and do the computations, then it can be faster. This is a very high level broad overview of cloud, IoT and edge. And what are the other technologies trend if you look at? So earlier single processor or single computer, single processor with SIMD instructions. Still there is SIMD is parallel instructions. Okay, so multiple single instruction, multiple data instructions. So suppose you are doing a vector additions. Okay, vector additions you can do parallelly. So in single processor time, and multi computers. So cluster data need to be travel outside by PC or LAN cables. Then multi processor, tightly coupled one. Data no need to travel outside the PC but outside the board, inside multi processor computer. And there is a processor plus oscillator. PCI board can hold the oscillators. So processor plus oscillator in the 7th chip. So this is actually what we are saying, this high bandwidth chip or SoC. So in SoC what happens? Processor, then all oscillator, graphics processor, hexagon processor, or DSP processor, image processor, all stay in single chip. So that is called SoC. So this is the technology chain. This thing already I have told you. And nowadays this 3D chip also. So not only one layer but there will be multiple layer chip. And if you look at the quest for performance, so this is the earlier trend. So this single processor. So pipelining, superscalar architecture, out of order, cache, increase different ISA. But this is for single processor. This is past research we don't do. This is architectural level. And modern days we have actually parallelism, multi-core processor, cluster, grid, cloud system we use. In HPC systems, so multi-node or multi-computer or blacks, so we use actually MPA programming models. So this is message passing programming model. So nodes are multi-cores, so each node, so HPC system have many nodes or many computer or blacks. Okay, to program the whole HPC we use actually MPA program. Okay, and to program a multi-core single node and node of accelerator we use actually OpenMP and OpenCLR CUDA. Suppose you have a laptop or you have a desktop with actually 8 cores, 16 thread. Okay, 16 threaded laptop or desktop. So which language is preferable? So which model is preferable? A shared memory model is preferable because it is in the same computer. Okay, same laptop or same computer. If it is a multiple separate computer arranged and made in a big HPC system, then OpenMP is preferable. Okay, and inside a core, multi-threaded with vector instructions, it's better to go for OpenMP, GCC optimized or vectorized core. So this is the standard way of programming the things. Okay. Suppose you want to achieve higher performance in your laptop. Suppose you want to parallelize your C code. So it's better to use OpenMP for your laptop. Okay, for desktop also better to use only OpenMP or OpenCLR CUDA if you have GPU. And it's better to use GCC optimized core or vectorized core and OpenMP. But if you have a HPC system with many machines, many computers connected in the internet, then it's better to use MPA. But MPA can be used for single machine also. It's not like that MPA cannot be used for single machines. So in your laptop also you can use MPA. MPA can be used for smaller system, also bigger system. But OpenMP, that is shared memory programming model, cannot be used for bigger system. So have you heard about our Parmesan supercomputer? Hello, student.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So in Parmesan computer, what is the configurations? Do you means have you heard about? So what are the configurations? What is the RAM size of each machines? How many machines are there? So our Parmesan have actually 3,800 cores. Okay, so that have actually 3,800 cores. Okay, and each machine have actually 24 cores. So how many cores? 3,800 by 24. So around 160 machines are there. So 160 blades are there. Around 160 blades are there, and each blade having 24. So you can do a very rough calculations. So 3,800 by 3,800 by 24. So you can say around 160, 158.33. So 160, 3,800 cores are there in our HPC system. Okay, and there are around 160 machines, and most of the machines out of this 160, I think so 4 machines are entry node. Okay, 164 machine I think so, and out of 164, 4 node are entry node. So user can go and log into the entry node, and from the entry node they can fire the job to the 160 node machines. Okay, and these entry nodes are high memory 512 GB of RAM, and rest of the machines are 64 GB of RAM. Okay, and in your OS course you must have read about scheduling of jobs. So in scheduling of jobs, for 1 core or 2 cores, your basic scheduling works. But whenever its number of cores are 3,800 cores, so the scheduling algorithm need to be changed differently. We need to think differently. So can you think of scheduling algorithm for 3,800 cores, not the 1 or 2 cores? So in your OS course, whatever the scheduling algorithm we used actually for 1 core or 2 cores, but whenever number of cores are 3,800, we need to think of load balancing, then scheduling in a different way. Even Gantt chart. What is the Gantt chart? Do you know?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Gantt chart. So at what time, on which processor the task is executing. Okay. So that chart, graphical chart is called Gantt chart. And even for 3,800 core, Gantt chart is not possible to store or display. Okay. So we need to use some standard database software as MySQL or some database software to store the information about the Gantt chart. Any kind of queries, which processor is free, which processor is busy. Even for that also we need to use standard database, relational database software to manage the 3,800 cores. Okay. So what do you need to study in this prospect? So single processor. So in this course also we looked at not architecture, we will not looked at architecture, but we looked at the C++ optimization methods, GCC, OpenMP simulations, cache optimizations, and how to optimize the serial code. That we looked at. We will not looked at the architecture point of view, but we looked at from the RAID point of view. Okay, so C++ optimization method we looked at. And then we looked at multi-core node, how we can what are the basic multi-core architecture, accelerator and interconnect. And we looked at OpenMP model, accelerated model, CUDA model, but very lightly. In 1 or 2 classes we will finish the OpenMP. CUDA also will finish in 1 and 2 classes. And MPA programming also will try to finish in 1 or 2 classes. Because we will give more emphasis to the second part of the course, that is called advanced part, that is cloud, IoT and edge computing. But definitely we looked at the serial code optimizations, how to optimize the code, and how to program for multi-core node and for HPC server. because it is SPC, at least we should cover that part. But all the things will be mostly on pen and paper based. There will not be any programming assignments. And if you look at overalls, so top 500 HPC machines, multiprocessor accelerator based, most are the multiprocessor and accelerator based, and application model and management we need to look at. And whenever someone set up the HPC, whenever we are looking at cloud computing theory sites, so we looked at from the cost point of view or running cost point of view on how to rent. Cost of HPC, initial cost, so system, rack server, then storage, place, then AC, then running cost of HPC, annual maintenance, energy management, HPC on rent. So then how to rent the thing. So this is, if you look at to set up a HPC, so initial cost, our HPC system, it cost us actually 10 crore. So this parameter cost of 10 crore. But we got the place freely, AC freely. But if you set up your own, suppose you want to set up your own HPC system, and you need to buy the place. Okay, so buy the place means particular land. You need to get the building done. Okay, then you need to get the wiring, AC, electricity all done. That also have some cost. Okay, so if you look at current day, so if you want to install a HPC system, this building cost itself is very huge. Okay, so that also we need to take care. Okay, so but if you are putting the building in some remote places, some village area, then that cost will reduce. So people try to put their HPC system not in actual city places or very heart of the city, but they try to put the things at remotely so that they get the cost is reduced. So cost of HPC, not only the system cost, but the place, AC, electricity, and other cost also it includes. That is called capital cost. Okay. Then second is running cost of HPC, then AMC, energy and management. So we need to manage the things. Okay, running cost means we require some security, means physical personal security. Then if we require energy cost, particularly electricity cost, annual maintenance cost. Okay, many other cost. Energy cost means it includes the AC cost, AC running cost also. Not only the HPC system power consumptions, you need to look at the power consumptions of AC also, air conditions. Suppose you put your HPC system in some Arunachal Pradesh, the Silla Pass or Diram, then you may not require the AC running cost because there's place is a little bit cooler, so we don't require. But other cost may include. This is the costing. But after getting cost, so how much is getting utilized, whether this is beneficial or not, whether you want to give as a rent model or not. So you want to give the system for rent. So whenever you install something or you invest somewhere, so many people they want what is the outcome out of that. So everything everywhere the economy drives. Okay, economy drives means whenever someone invests somewhere, he wants profit. So everyone want profit. So if profit is not there, no one will be putting the things. And if you look at HPC course at high level, so if the content is abstract level parallel and multi-core architecture we looked at the thread, OpenMP and MPI, and then Silk, CUDA and this thing we will not look at, but mostly we looked at the scheduling and management, resource management, benchmarking analysis, and these things, cloud, virtualization, cost, revenue model, energy efficiency and power efficiency we looked at the course from the theme fog, edge computing or mobile cloud computing prospects. Okay, so if you have any questions you can write. Okay, so hello students.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you have any questions or any kind of interactions, if you want to do, you can tell me.
Sir, for the HPC system, like you said, we can have it on the hills or the remote areas. But in that case, do we also need a very fast internet connectivity to these computers? Otherwise, we can't rent the models.
Yeah. So that also is an important factor. internet connection is also one of the important factors. Suppose you are getting some internet, very good internet connections, then why to put the things in city? So nowadays people, suppose in India, earlier people used to travel by road very rarely, but nowadays road connectivity is very nice. Okay, from in last 10 years, last 10 or 15 years, India road connectivity increased a lot. Okay, so quality of road have increased. So nowadays people are not hesitate to travel even 500 or 1000 kilometer by car. So earlier people used to hesitate to travel 200 kilometer. So that same thing applies here also. Okay, so we need very good internet connectivity where we want to set up our HPC system.
Sir, for what purpose is the supercomputer in IIT Guwahati used for?
So in IIT Guwahati, the supercomputer is getting used more than 80% of time. So that means utilization is more than 80%. And from our department, we don't use the supercomputer, but from chemistry, chemical, bioscience, and physics and mechanical, they run very high-end simulations. High-end simulations means particularly molecular dynamics simulations, then some physics kind of experiment they do. There are many person from other department, they use the system heavily, and they run the program on actually some 400 cores or 500 core means load for 7 days or 8 days continuously to get their experiment done.
Okay.
So from CF and E, we don't actually use the HPC system. We know how to make, how to schedule, but we don't use. User are mostly from actually other department: chemical, chemistry, physics, and mechanical, and biology, bioscience. These are the 5 departments they use the system heavily. Particularly chemistry and chemical they use heavily.
So the sir concepts that we will be taught in this course, will it be applicable only to supercomputers or to other platforms
And it
also?
will be applicable to supercomputer. It will be applicable to for means fog, edge, IoT, and cloud system. So here we will not talk about programming. We will talk about management, resource management, and what is the scheduling, mostly scheduling point of view, scheduling and analysis point of view.
Okay, sir.
So how to manage task scheduling on system. So how to schedule the tasks on system such that some thing is optimized. So either time, queuing delay, power, energy, or cost, anything is optimized. Or user response, quality of service, anything get optimized. Or security, or what I can say, reliability get optimized. Something get optimized. We will formulate the problem based on the scenario. So it will be mostly means algorithmic course. So initial some lectures will be on serial core optimizations and basic threading and OpenMP, but later on after 6 or 7 classes it will go to we will go to the theory.
Sir, most of the big cloud providers often use a term such as the data center. So by which do they mean HPC?
Yeah, data center means HPC.
Okay.
So where they store the data and manage the data and schedule the jobs, that is data center. So any other questions, high level questions you can interact. So there is no issue.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So just a request, can you share the slides before the class itself? That way it would be easier to follow while you're teaching. Maybe suppose you are in some slide but we wanted to see the point of some previous slide. So in that case it would be easier to follow. If there is
Sometimes it
any
may not be possible because sometimes I prepare slides up to last moment of the
okay.
so some slides are there, but I generally modify up to the last minute.
Uh, Yeah, like just before the class starts also it won't be an issue. Just during the class if we have the slides with us, so it would be easier to follow the class. That's what I just meant.
That can be done. So just before the class starting, I can share the slides. That can be.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyway, slides will be means shared. After the class, slide will be shared.
Yes, sir. Like if it would be just before the class, then it would be easier to follow in the class. That's just what I meant. Thank you very much.
Any other suggestions or anything? Because here number of students are very huge. So number of registered are 227. But that's why I means interaction with all people may not be possible. That's why all the exam will be online mode and rapid fire mode. So any other questions?
Sir, regarding the books and the material to be followed.
So regarding the books, there is one book means it will be followed mostly.